If you're gonna be paid the price, you have to pay the price. It's gut-wrenching, I know. But you can be successful if you decide to make it a must and go to work like you never have before. The 3 absolute master keys for success that my mentor Brian Tracy looked me in the eye and told me. He said, Ben, to be highly successful, first, continue to learn. Second, don't quit. Third, as his mentor Jim Rohn told him, stand guard at the door of your mind. My world changed my first year selling door to door when I changed my goal of what I was doing at each door. Now at first, success to me looked like making a sale. And I was having zero success my first 2 weeks, grinding, putting in double time, double energy, and getting nowhere. And I found that most people would automatically say no to me without really knowing what I was doing there, what my offer was, and this would drive me nuts. And I blamed my area for people who were just jerks and who wouldn't listen to me. I was 2 weeks out, I had no sales, I was out of money, I was completely broke, my car was broken down, and I had no money to fix it. My manager, I'll never forget, he came to my area and we sat on a curb together and we had a heart-to-heart talk. I was the only one in my office who hadn't sold anything yet. I just had zero sales. And he was trying to encourage me, but he also told me, listen, Ben, sales isn't for everyone. And there's no shame if this didn't work out. And that he couldn't keep me on the team if I didn't start selling soon. I couldn't believe it. I was about to be fired from a straight commission job. After this talk with my manager, I called my parents. They told me, Ben, just come home. Stop wasting my time working so hard and not getting paid. They never thought I should do this job in the first place, and they told me so very clearly before I went out. And I remember thinking, man, they're probably right. And I couldn't force the decisions of other people on the doors to say yes to me, and I wasn't willing to manipulate or lie to people to make a sale. So after 2 full weeks of not selling even one customer, I decided to quit. I was done. And I let my parents know about my decision. They were super relieved and they're excited for me, and come home to, I had my room that was waiting for me, my old comfy job, making minimum wage, stringing tennis rackets at Sport Chalet. And I packed my bags late that night, and instead of starting the drive home, I decided, we were by the beach in Oceanside, I decided to go for a run. And I went and I started running. I was bawling my eyes out that my dreams were crushed. And I'll never forget a couple thoughts that I had during that run. I realized that people weren't rejecting my offer because we weren't even getting to the offer. They were rejecting me. They didn't trust me. They didn't know me. They didn't know anything about me. They're like, am I there to case out their house? They weren't rejecting the thing that I was selling because we weren't getting to that. They didn't even know the full offer of what I could do for them. Almost nobody. And I was leaving so many doors without people understanding what my offer was to them. And if I could just, while I was in this run, I just thought if I could just get them to understand what I was really and actually doing there at their doorstep. If there was a way to be a better communicator with people. I always joked, I dreamed that there was like a chip that I could somebody opens the door, and you just take that chip and put it from my brain into theirs, and all of a sudden they can understand who I am, like my background, they could trust me, and I'm not there to do anything but to serve them. And if I could just put that chip and they understood what the deal was, I would make so many more sales. But overcoming that hurdle of, do they know me? Do they trust me? Are they willing to listen? Everyone's busy. I was leaving so many doors without people understanding what my offer was. And if I could just get them to understand what I was doing there, and if there was a way to better communicate with people, I remember on this run, if I could just figure out how to get people to listen to me, I could start making sales because I knew that I had a decent product that would help people, and some people would want it. If I could get them to really listen to me, get those walls down, if I could get them to trust me, that I wasn't there to case out their house or rob them or take advantage of them, I knew that this would be a skill that would serve me really well all throughout my life. And I also knew that it was possible to make sales because other people in my office were selling, and so many others before me have had a ton of success. And in this moment, running at the Oceanside Pier, bawling my eyes out super late at night, I had a glimmer of hope, thinking about a new goal. That success wasn't making a sale. Success would come from learning to effectively communicate with people that I don't know and that didn't want me to be there in their doorstep. And I somehow believed and knew that sales would come in time if I got good at this. Now, I'm not sure how it happened, but in that run, I decided not to quit, no matter what. And I was staying and working, and I'm going to work my guts out the whole summer, no matter what. I made a firm decision, like a line in the sand. And by the way, the word decision comes from the Latin decidere, which means to cut off. Just cut off. Take quitting off the table. Burn the boats. And I was going to see it through. I made that decision while I was running, that no matter what, I was going to finish that summer. Well, I went home and unpacked my bags. Now, the way on how I was going to survive financially while I wasn't making sales and to give me that runway started unfolding for me. My roommate, Trevor, he kept an emergency stash of $100 $1 bills in his sock drawer, and he let me borrow this to give me a few weeks of runway for groceries. And I set off on an obsession with every new door to learn how to communicate more effectively in a very challenging setting, right? Where they don't want me there, and how do you figure out that communication? And in my downtime, I started listening to every book I could on how to get people to listen to me. How I would role play with the guys in my office, people that were selling. I'd work with them, I'd pick their brain, I'd study the training manual every single spare moment that I could before and after work. While everyone else was out playing out and hanging, I was studying and learning. It was an obsession that I had to figure this out. And my life depended on, my well-being depended on, unless I wanted to go back and live with my parents in my room. I wanted something more. And I started focusing on my new goal and became obsessed with being a better communicator. And then, like magic, I started being successful even when people said no to me. And little by little, I started getting further in the sale. And the real breakthrough came when I was able to get people to really understand what I was offering. And this connection with people was fulfilling to me. And I started having fun on the doors. And I was seeing success. And I still hadn't made a sale, but my third week, I connected with a young couple and got them to understand my offer. Broke down the barriers, the walls. We built some trust. And it turned out that my offer was good for them, selling home security systems. And to my surprise, they said yes. And I was just like, yes, it was just like a life changer for me. I was so excited. I got my first sale. It was possible. Then day by day, being committed and working hard, learning to connect and communicate. Others started doing the same thing and they started saying yes to me too. Listen, when I started being persistent in the effort of capturing people's attention, connecting with them in a meaningful way, and figuring out how to do this without wasting their time or being annoying to them, my goal was to help them identify what I was offering and see if it could be helpful to them, not to sell them, but to serve them. This changed everything for me. And I started making a ton of sales. And that summer I ended up making $25,000. And it changed my whole life. I finished among the top in my office of 30 guys, which led me to earning my first $1 million in sales commission while I was in college. My whole life trajectory changed forever that summer, and was the start for me to becoming a highly effective communicator, which is the highest paid skill in the world, by the way. And these are the 3 absolute master keys for success that my mentor, Brian Tracy, looked me in the eye and told me. He said, Ben, to be highly successful, first, continue to learn. Second, don't quit. Third, as his mentor, Jim Rohn, told him, stand guard at the door of your mind. And in real life, you don't get what you want. You get what you have to have. You get what you decide and become obsessed on, and you make it happen. And I promise you, if you apply what I've shared in this video from my own personal firsthand experience, you are gonna crush it. If you continue to learn, if you don't quit, and if you stand guard at the door of your mind. In fact, I wrote the book, Pluck the FUD, to help you overcome fear, uncertainty, and doubt, to stand guard at the door of your mind. Chapter 9 is called Stand Guard. You were born to crush it. But if you're going to be paid the price, you have to pay the price. It's gut-wrenching, I know. But you can be successful if you decide to make it a must and go to work like you never have before. You've got this. Make it a great day.